Okay. How's my mic? I think that's good. If it peaks, we'll figure out. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. So, I don't know why it doesn't let me capture the game. I tried to do game capture and then hold on. Where is this? Okay. Give me a second. I tried to do the game capture and then I did window caption and it just did not. It wouldn't capture it for some reason. And I'm not gonna do a screen capture just cause, safety reasons. um, it freaks me out. So there we go. There. So it just wouldn't let me. I tried a bunch of stuff and it didn't let me. So I'm gonna have to leave that game for another time until I figure out how to make it work on my OBS because it just wouldn't like capture the game. It would be a black, it would either not show anything or it would just show a black screen. So yep. So instead I decided very last minute that we're gonna finish Doki Doki instead, since we only have like 2 stories left. And I think we are gonna be able to do it on this stream. I do have something to do at 8, but is it 8? Yeah, 8. But I think we'll manage to finish them both on time. So let's get started. So yeah, sorry about that. It just I don't know what happened there. Let me just check the audio. I think that should be fine. And my mic is also good, so okay. Let's start. I think this is the Yuri and Monika story, which is pretty exciting. So let's begin. Am I bothering you? No. Okay, just checking. It's hard to tell since you always look so into it when you're reading. It makes me scared to interrupt. Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here. It's mainly when I'm by myself that I don't like it. That makes sense. I guess if you're here in the first place, then you're more ready to socialize even if it takes a little bit of prodding. It's not so bad to be social if I let others do the work, so it can be healthy to put myself in a social environment every now and then. It's mostly difficult when I don't know anyone, or there are too many people, or everyone is being too silly for me to keep up with. I get that. That happens to me often. Okay, I'm just adjusting my settings because everything is a mess around me. Because I was scrambling to first be here on time and then have everything ready and then trying to make the other game work and then failing. So yeah. I still don't know. I'm still considering it because today's stream is supposed to replace, I guess, the one for Saturday because I'm not gonna be able to stream on Saturday. Technically not on Friday either, and tomorrow I can't in the afternoon and I have a bunch of stuff to do in the morning, so yeah, that's why I moved it to today. And then I forgot that I had Japanese lessons at 8, so I had to move it up an hour so I don't scramble in time. And so I'm still, now that I have my schedule for Friday, because the show I told you guys about before that I'm in, it's this weekend. We have a total of 4 shows this weekend. So I only like I didn't know if they were gonna ask me to go in the morning and stay there all day, but no, they just require me after a certain hour in the evening. So I could stream in the morning, but I'm still debating on whether I do it or not. If I manage to figure out how to make my OBS capture the other game, then I'll consider streaming it on Friday morning. But if not, then this is gonna be the only stream for this week. So yeah. Anyway, Yuri glances across the room at Sayori and Natsuki. Sayori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch pieces of a cookie that Natsuki is lobbing into the air. But the pieces keep bouncing off her face and hitting the floor. Maybe I should say something. No need. They just ran out of cookie. What a waste. They've really become good friends, haven't they? I'm happy. Sayori seems particularly good at making that happen. But the two of them are both on the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well. Yeah, come to think of it, you and I haven't had many chances to talk one-on-one, have we? Though that may be partially my fault since I'm supposed to be the one engaging club members. Not at all. I've probably formed the habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equally on me, at least to display some openness to engage. Well, what about during times like lunch? Do you meet up with friends? I just read. Oh, but I like it that way. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes. Do you always read fantasy? Oh, not always. I suppose it's all I've read recently, but only because I'm in the middle of this series. There are still 2 more books after this one. I guess those long books suit you well, since you spend so much time reading. Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that, I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity. Oh yeah? Even like romance? Well, there are a lot of books that have elements of romance in them. Oh, come on, Yuri, you know what I mean. Monika lowers her voice. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I won't tell anyone if you do too. Maybe more when I was in middle school. I mean, I was really lonely and people were mean to me a lot, so it kind of felt like, please don't make me think about the past. Sorry, I just got super curious. Like, honestly, no shame in that. I do see. I mean, for the record, I'm just gonna say romantic relationships is not something I'm after, in actuality, but reading romance is pretty nice every now and then. And I get the feeling that they're talking about it, and I don't think it's childish. I mean, I'm a huge lover of Kaguya-sama after all, which, by the way, did I talk about it when I went to see it? I think I did a little bit on my last Grease playthrough, but I just love that series. And I know the manga's done, I just haven't read it, and it's not so much because I'm like, I don't like reading manga. I'm not that into reading manga, but when I like a series, I usually read it, but there are specific ones that I'm like, I just rather wait for the anime because it's so good than like spoil myself. And Kaguya is one of those ones. So I that's why I haven't read the manga. I own one of the volumes because a friend of mine gifted it to me on my last birthday. But sometimes the urge is there because I'm like, I want to know what happens, but at the same time, it's just not the same, like reading it and then experiencing. I don't know, it's just a me thing. It's odd, but that's just a series that I adore. And I think most of the times we tend to be like, or at least people like me, I guess, and Yuri and Monika, I don't know, that is just like, oh no, I don't read it that often, or I'm not that into it because it's embarrassing, because then people tend to generalize things and think that that's all, like, for example, in my case, that all the animes I like are like of that genre, when it's not the case. And it's just like a very specific thing that I like. And you know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what was my point with this, but the point is, what I'm saying is that there's no shame in liking romance. It's a guilty pleasure every now and then, and that's good. That's the only reason I read fanfiction. Like, come on. Because yes, I read fanfiction. I still read fanfiction, and I haven't for the past how long have I? 8 years. Yeah, 8 years. Yeah, I was gonna say 13, but no, that's not right. For the past 8 years. Yeah. You know, we should totally pick out a romance novel to read. That would be so much fun. Absolutely not. Really? Even if it was just between us? Try asking someone who has no shame. La Natsuki. I mean, true. Natsuki has no shame in what she reads, I guess. I mean, kind of. She did hide one of her volumes from Sayori one time, but I guess that wasn't just romance. So, okay. Ouch. Sorry, I swear I didn't mean that. Well, I guess it was my fault for pressing you. I'm like that for things in my past, too. You know, things I feel too embarrassed to re-experience. There's nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Natsuki's interest in manga reminds me quite a bit of how intense I used to be about my own interests. It makes me think that she'll likely grow out of it too. Wait. History. Hey, were you talking about me? No, we were just talking about how our interests had changed over the years. When did you get into manga, Natsuki? Like a couple of years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before that, but I wasn't really going hard until then. Oh yeah? What was it that inspired you to get more into it? I don't know. I guess... let me think. It was after I discovered a series that I really liked. Yeah, I was just like really fed up with a lot of things, and I got super into this one series that I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I just hated everyone around me and wanted to be myself. Be by myself. Hey, kind of like Yuri. Monika? Sorry. That's completely wrong, so... I think everyone has an edgy phase at some point. And for some of us it takes like longer to get out of it. I guess. I don't know, I think it's usually in middle school, but it's still cool that you both really found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they helped you a lot through hard times. You know it. Well, what the heck? Is that book even bigger than the last one you were reading? It's technically slightly longer, but not by very much. How high do you think it would go if you stacked up the whole series? Natsuki estimates by holding her hand high over her head, sizing up an imaginary stack. I should get one of those mangas that's like 50 volumes long so that I can say I read more than you. Not that I have the money for that. Please, that would hardly count when your books only have a few words per page. I know, I was just joking. I could never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me. Another fun fact about Leo. I'm starting to realize that I'm a mixture of these two because I used to be very like Yuri about books when I was in like middle school. Nowadays, I don't read that many books anymore because I don't have the time and they're really long. But back in the day, I used to read like 300 to 500 page books in like 3 days. And I would be very much like, oh, this is the kind of stuff that I like, and this kind of literature is not so good and all that kind of jazz. And I remember it and I cringe because, come on. And nowadays, I don't really read manga a lot, but I'm more into like the anime stuff than reading. So I understand both sides, and at the same time, I'm like, come on, guys, stop. Yuri shoots a glare at Natsuki. It's not boring. Chill, I said for me, not for you. I can have my own opinion, I just think it's too convoluted. Sayori, are those from the floor? Gross. Also, wash your hands before touching any of my books. But my hands aren't dirty. Just do it. The oils are there even if you can't see them. Fine. Sayori throws out the door and Natsuki follows. Yuri, you look a little upset. What kind of nerve does she have to call my hobby boring? Well, she did correct herself. Hardly. She was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I already understand that it's not for everyone. But she knows well how much these mean to me. So how about just leaving me alone instead of needlessly telling me the things you hate about it? I'm sorry, Yuri. You may be right. This won't be the last time people have strong feelings about what they like and don't like. Especially in a literature club. So I should figure out how to mediate discussions to keep them positive and constructive. For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of creativity in your books, and also your ability to get through them so quickly. Thank you. Okay. Well, this is something that I'll have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Natsuki find some common ground with you. Common ground isn't necessary. I just wish to be respected. That then. Either way, I'll do my best. I'm skeptical when it comes to Natsuki. I trust you, Monika, but I'm skeptical. Alright, so this seems more like a thing between Yuri and Natsuki than actually Monika, but... okay. Okay, everyone. We have a special club meeting today. As you know, the Literature Club is a place where we get to share things that we're really passionate about. But that also means we shouldn't be mindful of how we respond to each other's feelings. I think we have a chance to turn our differences into positive energy for each other. Aren't you being a little dramatic about this? This is important to me. Well, sorry, I just feel like I'm being accused or something. No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm sorry if I came off that way. But our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language, and I thought it would be a good topic for the Literature Club, don't you think? I'm sure we're going to have differences in opinion a lot, so I need to make sure we're prepared to keep a positive atmosphere in the club. If you say so. Sure! The cool thing about language is that it gives us a lot of different ways to express the same idea or emotion. Indeed, there are a lot of synonyms in life, and you mainly learn to use them for school, or at least that was my case. We have a lot of control over how we want the other person to feel when we receive our thought. This goes for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, basically anything. For example, Sayori, what's your favorite food? I have them organized by category. Should I start with snacks or do you mean full meals? Should I include breakfast? Oh jeez. Okay, how about your favorite fruit? That's easy. Cherries. I don't have them by categories, but I do have like a standard top 3 of stuff in case people ask me, what's your favorite? And I'm like, I don't know. So I get that. Really? I always thought cherries tasted nasty. What? Cherries are delicious! Well, that's a pretty strong reaction. Well, I just don't understand how somebody could think cherries are nasty. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Sayori, but natural cherries I don't like. The flavor is like a bit too strong for me, and I usually tend not to like fruits with like seeds that are big enough so that I can like munch them or feel them. when I eat fruit. So yeah. But those ones that are like, what's it called? Usually come in like they put them on cakes, and it's because they've been like fermented for a bit, and they almost look like plastic, but they're not plastic. I forget the name. Compote? Well, the point is that the not so natural cherries are the ones that I like, because those are sweet, and the other ones are kind of, but taste more like, I don't know. It's hot. Anyway, how does it make you feel? I don't know. Sad? Defensive, maybe? Yeah, I got defensive. See? The reason you had such a strong reaction wasn't because I just don't like cherries. It's because you felt like your opinion was under attack. But that's weird, right? Something like taste is completely subjective. But when I say something like, I think cherries taste nasty, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Sayori's reality that cherries are delicious with my own. Which is that cherries are nasty. Wait, hold on. How's that objective when you just said it was only your own opinion? It has to do with the way our brains interpret the words. You're talking about the reality of the cherries, not your feelings about them. Like Sayori. Let's rewind for a second and pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are nasty. Good. So, what if instead of that I said like, I've tried cherries and they're not for me. It's not the kind of flavor I enjoy. Well, that's fine. As long as you don't call them nasty. Nasty is a nasty word. Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think it gets the point across. This time around, instead of talking about the cherries, I just talk about my feelings, and Sayori didn't get defensive. So instead of clashing with each other, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yuri, you don't need to take notes. I'm not gonna quiz you or something. I know that. I was just... Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you'd like. But does anyone have any thoughts so far? Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language through a filter just to protect someone's feelings. Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours on how you want to come across to other people. I'm only suggesting it as a tool to help turn your differences into a positive experience rather than an argument. Right, Sayori? Whatever you say, cherry hater. Oh, come on. Sayori, I actually like cherries. I was just saying that to help demonstrate. What the heck? I've been duped! I'm sorry, Sayori. I'll make it up to you later. How about a cherry sundae? You are welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved president. Buying your people's loyalty. How deplorable. Oh, like you would turn down a free sundae, Yuri. You are certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought in the other week. That was... I was reading and not keeping track of them. Oh, that's enough. We're getting off topic. So now that we have the gist of it, how about we try it with something more relevant to the club? Like manga, right? Let's try to have a productive discussion about our differences in opinion. Yuri, do you want to start? Well, I'd rather not, no. Aw, how come? Well, because I don't see how anything productive can come from that. It's just going to start a fight. No, it'll be fine. That's why I'm here to moderate. Let's just have a calm and rational discussion. Yeah, give me a little more credit. I'm not a child. You don't have to coddle my feelings. I always think it's more respectable to just speak your mind. Respectable? Yuri's expression changes at that word. As Monika recalls, being respected was the crux of the matter for Yuri. Well, the point of the exercise isn't really like, it's fine. I have nothing against against anyone personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever it is you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance in my reading material. But manga can also be deep and mature, Yuri. You just haven't found the right genre, I promise. It's not all fun and games. I look for stories that are imaginative and sophisticated beyond the surface level. Oh, well, that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were gonna say that mangas for children or something. I don't hear enough of that. But there's plenty of deep manga. See? I'm not clueless about manga. I've read my own fair share when I was younger. What? Are you serious? How come you never told me? Because I'm past that point in my life, and I really prefer not to revisit it. I prefer more mature things now. Excuse me? Okay, hold on, can I jump in here? Let's try to keep things subjective. Because if you imply that manga is immature, then aren't you implying that someone is immature for being into it? Hi. Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you. Natsuki. Nobody's immature. I read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy and I love them both in their own way. Okay. It's great that you like it, but I still find it boring. Boring isn't subjective. Okay, it bores me. That's subjective. But, I mean, the thing about... This is ridiculous. Do you see why I didn't want to participate in this? I knew it was just going to make people upset. I'm not upset. Like I said, I don't care what other people think. But I always got the impression that you secretly looked down upon me, so I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed. That's not true at all. You're making assumptions. You can't blame me for getting defensive when nobody ever has the least bit of respect for the things that I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me for just being myself and trying to mind my own business. What? Have you looked in the mirror? Tell me again about respect after calling all my interests immature. You can't... Please stop. Please? You don't mean the things you're saying right now. Let's just be friends. I didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try and solve other people's problems next time, okay? Ouch. That hurt. That hurt. They both have points, but they're both being a little immature about it. I think mostly Yuri here is in the ground, but and I love Yuri, but Yuri's piercing words send the clubroom into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves. Holy crap. I've never heard her sound like that before. She must be so pissed. Well, you weren't very nice either, so... I was just saying. How did this happen? It's my fault. Yuri wasn't wrong. I should have tried to moderate the conflict when I know how bad I shouldn't have tried to moderate a conflict when I know how bad I am with dealing with conflicts. It was really stupid. It was a really stupid thing for me to do. It's nobody's fault, and it wasn't stupid. Everyone in the club is a nice person. Nobody would have expected this. But I guess we're sensitive about the things we really love. Honestly, she kind of brought it upon herself. Like I said, I don't care if you're not into manga, but if you actually look down on other people for it, that's kind of the point I was trying to make in the first place. It's not about sugarcoating things, it's about just recognizing and understanding our differences. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Yuri actually looks down on me. It has nothing to do with her word choice or anything like that. So I see what you were trying to do, but I really think the problem here is her, not just like the way we talk to each other, right? I mean, Yuri isn't like that. She's a lot sweeter than you're giving her credit for. I'm sure she'll be reflecting on this. I actually think everyone should. It'll be fine. I'll figure something out. Well, I'm just like saying that instinctively. I'm just setting myself up to cause more problems. This wasn't your fault, Monika. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. If you ask me, it's good that the truth finally came out. Because I can just move on now. But... it's fine, I promise. Let's just get our minds of this, okay? In fact, it's a good opportunity to read some manga without having to worry about feeding Yuri's superiority complex. Don't be mean. I'll talk to or read manga or whatever you want, but don't be mean to my friends, okay? Sorry, I'm just bitter. Everything will be okay. I mean, I don't have the answers, but I at least know that we're all good people and don't want to hurt each other. This will be a learning experience. Monika says that, but her uneasiness is given away by how much she has to force the reassuring tone in her voice. This was bound to happen eventually. Natsuki and Yuri have always engaged with each other the least out of anyone, and this is the reason. As Sayori and Natsuki proceed to distract themselves with manga, Monika sighs to herself, unable to shake her worried thoughts. Will the club really have to just come to terms with the fact that some members will be incompatible with each other? Monika desperately doesn't want to admit that, and she knows Sayori doesn't either. But for once, a solution doesn't seem to be in sight. Oh dang. And that's where it ends. But that's why we have part 2. Okay, let's just check out. We have new music. I don't know which one is the new one. I think it's. Is it Hug Energy? Nope. Dusk? Maybe. Because it's the one we were listening to right now. And Male. Ethics. Simply put, it's not our job to arbitrarily decide upon some code of ethics just because we're the first ones to do this, to our knowledge. That's the government's job to figure it out, long after we've made enough headway for it to no longer apply to us. It's fundamentally flawed to apply ethical reasoning to this anyway, because humanity's code of ethics is based upon nothing more than our knowledge and understanding of life forms similar to ourselves. We don't have ethics for killing bacteria or plants, only for the creatures that we can convincingly project our emotions onto, the humans. In our VMs operate completely differently from us on a fundamental level. Is this some Sword Art Online stuff? You know, with the alicization, I think it was? Or was it Battle of the Underworld? I don't remember, but the latest season. Not the movies, the seasons. And therefore should not be taken any more seriously than a machine that's programmed to print I feel sad. We're engineers, not philosophers. So, like, I've seen these emails and I don't know exactly what they're all about. But I'm guessing there's like some underlying story about these characters being maybe, or at least not all of them, maybe just Monika being some kind of AI that, you know, has a mind of her own. And that's why we're talking here about the whole ethics thing, about their rights, or if it's right or not to do this or that with them, and all that stuff. But what does it have to do with the story? That's what I'm like. I'll probably look it up later and watch a video or something, because I don't feel like figuring it out on my own right now. And there are also some files that I just can't access, and I don't know how to access them. I'll probably look into that too, but on my own spare time. But it's just something that I'm like, I like it when stories do that, but here I don't know what the purpose of it is. Like, is it like a setup for some next game that's not related necessarily to Doki Doki, but it's gonna have like some of these things, or what? Because it's the whole metaverse thing, and I know like this whole like, oh, this is a PC desktop and all that, and you can access all your files from here as if it were a computer. It's because this was adapted so it could be ported into consoles like the Switch, so you wouldn't have to use a computer to like check the emails and stuff that arrive that you get when for example, the have a nice weekend, which is the one that you get when Monica leaves you with Yuri and then she kills herself on was it Act 3 or Act 2? I don't remember. And all that. And I think she used to leave you like more hints before, but now they're like divided in the pictures and the files that I don't know how exactly work, because here's where you can like erase them and all that. Oh yeah, Monica's not here anymore. Maybe if I played a new game, but I'm not gonna do that. At least not now. So yeah. Anyway, I just wonder what that all is about, because I've been seeing it, but I haven't really looked into it. And I don't know if I want to. Honestly. A new day arrives. Sayori arrives at the clubroom earlier than usual. That is, not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still. So she sits down at a desk and pulls out a sheet of paper, primed to jot down her thoughts. I wish I could just do that. Like, I have the urge sometimes, and I kind of do it, but I don't do it often. I don't know. This has nothing to do with the story or anything. It's just something that came to my mind that sometimes I do want to, like, write something, but I don't know. Anyway, Sayori has made it a habit of scribbling her thoughts and feelings onto paper whenever possible, as it tends to serve as her best inspiration for poetry. My heart feels vacant because the ship sailed away. Yo. Yeah. Natsuki. Natsuki pokes her head out from behind the closet door. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you, but it would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I doubt you want me listening in on your poetry thing. Yeah. Thanks for realizing that. Should I let you finish that up then? Oh no, it wasn't. I mean, I just do it whenever it's convenient. You're not interrupting. Where's Monika, by the way? Oh, she's out in the hallway. Huh? Why? Well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri's too nervous to come into the clubroom by herself, so... Oh. Jeez, does Yuri really let things bother her for that long? She can't control her feelings. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Maybe you can distract yourself for a little while, but as soon as it's just you and your thoughts again, it comes back. Ugh. I just want to have a normal club meeting. It's a lot easier to pretend like it never happened if we all just ignore it and move on. I don't want to be bothered by this. It's so stupid, her opinion of me doesn't matter anyway. Besides, it makes me feel really guilty and I hate that too. It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak. Let's figure this out together. Fine. Only because you're good at this stuff. Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Maybe that will help us understand where your bad feelings are coming from. Well, I was happy the way things were before we had to have that conversation yesterday. What part of that conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean about the manga? Maybe. I doubt it though. Because my friends and other people make fun of manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But something about it really got me this time, and I hate that I'm letting that happen. Is it because it came from Yuri? No, why would that matter? I mean, well, maybe. I just hate that she thinks she's so much better than me just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated. Yeah, that's what it is. At least other people decide that they don't like me, or manga or whatever. But Yuri acts like she's too good to even give it a chance. I'm sorry. Everyone deserves a chance. Yeah, exactly. Would you give Yuri's books a chance? Ha, after this? Obviously not. What about before this? Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long. But if you actually keep an open mind, then it's not hard to realize that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated. I see. But you know, I like Yuri's books. Yeah, but you like manga more, right? Oh my god. Are we seriously doing this Natsuki card? Sayori shakes her head. I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga, it's really honest and fun and easy to just let go with. And the fantasy has a lot to interpret and uncover, and it's really rewarding to have some good quiet time together with it. But the most important thing is that both the manga and the fantasy are true to themselves. So, I love them both. And I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. And I just feel like maybe they have more in common than you would think. We're using metaphors to refer to each individual. How do you get along with everyone so well? I always get into fights with people. Like, first it was with Monika when I was new to the club. And then it was you. And now it's Yuri. And I'm always like, oh, that person is being such a jerk, and if they just realized that, then we could at least get along. But nobody else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everybody's just a jerk to me because nobody likes me. And I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate it. Natsuki. Sayori puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder. You're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved as much as everyone else. Everyone has different ways to, they like to communicate, you know? And sometimes that makes it harder for us to understand each other. Yeah. Human nature is really complicated. Because each head is their own world. And someone told me once that everyone lives the world in a different way because everyone has like a different perspective, a different way of viewing things. So maybe sometimes you say something that you don't necessarily mean as something mean, but other people will interpret it as an offense, like in this case. It's just complicated. Relationships are complicated. Of any kind, by the way. I guess because our nature is complicated. Well, human nature is complicated. That would only be half of mine, so yep. This is why I like this game so much. I think, like, it's nothing quote unquote special because it is good and it has a lot of depth to it, of course, even if it doesn't seem like it in the beginning. But it's just like it makes you reflect on things and makes you think and feel, and it's just great, even if it traumatizes you along the way in the main story. I just love it. I think this is one of my favorite games ever. So yeah, I'm just also a huge fan of visual novels in general, so, but you know, story is always what drives it. And these hit close to home, so yeah. I think that sometimes we get lucky and we make friends who are really good at the same kinds of communication. I guess that's part of it. And it feels like you magically connect with them. But other times, even if both people are really nice, it's easy for them to misunderstand each other or to get the communication wrong. It's something that Yuri struggles a lot with too. It can be really hard. It takes a lot of reflection and self-awareness and vulnerability. I'm bad at that one. Vulnerability. I always have to be the strongest. What do you mean? Tell me about that part of you. Well, it sounds stupid, but I'm really used to people being mean to me. Like, my friends. And I guess my dad. Like, when I don't get good grades, or even stupid things like my room isn't clean. So what am I gonna do? Cry about it? First of all, if they're mean to you, they're not your friends, girl. You have to realize that. Ditch them. I know it's not easy, but ditch them. They're not worth your time. If I let myself get upset, then it's just letting them win. I'm better than that. I'm better than all of them. And who said things about feeling superior to other people? Like, I know this comes as a defense mechanism, but still, like, it's the same thing. So, things always have to be everyone else's fault. It feels like if something goes wrong and there's even a tiny hint that it might be my fault, then I just get really angry and I find ways to blame everything else instead. Do you see yourself as better than Yuri? If I said that, then I would just sound really full of myself. No. Our thoughts and our feelings are two different things. Even if we don't like our feelings, we have to understand them if we want to learn more about themselves. That's part of the vulnerability, you know? Accepting that we have feelings that we don't like. Very true, Sayori. I hate that. My feelings make me a bad person. No, they don't. It feels like that, but they don't. You're not bad for feeling them. It's a natural thing. And I guess it's because they are your feelings. You feel like you are then a bad person, but it's not like it's complicated to explain. But it's not you in the sense of it doesn't make you a bad person or this or that. It's just something that you're feeling and that you can work on. But that doesn't, or that it will go away, because sometimes feelings are fleeting. You don't have them all the time. But it doesn't say anything about you or makes you less or a terrible person, I guess. Which is something that's really hard to like separate, precisely because it's like different, or at least for me it's difficult to explain, but yeah. Because my feelings just want to tell me that I'm so much better than her. That she's just a judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy face, and that I'm just a way about that garbage. But I'm terrible for feeling that way. You're not terrible. You are not your feelings, exactly. But you are not your feelings. Say that to yourself, out loud. Oh god, we're in therapy now. Because I say this because that's what my therapist once told me. Fine. I am not my feelings. The way that I like to picture it is that those feelings are like your roommate. You live in the same house and you gotta see each other every day. And even if you can ignore each other most of the time, you're gonna run into each other every now and then. And it's gonna make you feel like poop. So the other option is to get to know each other. You can communicate and learn from each other, and maybe even help each other change for the better. Does that help you understand? Oh my god, Sayori, I love you. You're so smart. You're so wise. How do you know so much about this stuff? Oh, because Natsuki doesn't know, of course. That's exactly it, I guess. I should just let Sayori talk, honestly. But yeah, that's the thing. I love this game. Therapy time with Doki Doki. I just have a roommate that it can be really hard to get along with, called depression. Depression? But you're like the happiest person I know. I'm not my feelings. I want to be a good person like you. Aw, you little sweetheart. We're all good people. You and Yuri and Monika. And I think Yuri will eventually learn that about you. Natsuki remains silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite Sayori's kind reassurance, a complicated mixture of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from a wound inside her. Was it a result of her vulnerability? Well, yeah, because when you're vulnerable, you're opening up your wounds to other people. Because you are not just the way you are just because your feelings appear like that. It's because someone hurt you in the past. And when they say things like that, they rub on the wound. They open it again. And you just attack. Instead of trying to listen, I guess. No, it wasn't as though she was inflicted a wound after becoming vulnerable. It was as though she began to rediscover an old wound, one that cannot simply be bandaged and left alone any longer. I guess that's what's hard about therapy. And getting to know yourself in general, because it's painful. It's not easy, it's painful. Because you have to look back to all that stuff. And when you look back on it, you sort of relive it. Or like, it's like as if you were going like through that again. and that's why it hurts. But like, you have to know and you have to see it and understand it in order to know how to like fix it, how to help it heal. That's why you can't just ignore it and move on, because eventually it's just gonna not explode like the wounds that explode, but it's just gonna, I guess, to put it that way, like hurt in a way that it's gonna make you explode, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. Yuri, what are you doing all the way over here? I was looking for you. Please don't yell at me. Oh, I'm not going to yell at you. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. It wasn't fair for me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time, I would just try to jump in and solve and solve everyone's problems. I guess it's just a bad habit of mine. You're not mad at me? I thought you were the one mad at me. I was so awful yesterday. Yuri curls up, recalling the details of the argument. I can't even have a normal conversation without saying something wrong and making everyone upset. Hold on, that's not what happened at all. Let's talk about this, okay? I feel this is gonna sound gross, but I feel like I have a little bit of phlegm and that's why I can't properly read. I guess I have to swallow like every 5 seconds. Anyway. Yuri pauses for a second, then manages a nod. Monika takes a seat next to her on the staircase. I'm having a lot of negative thought patterns, and I can't get away from them. What kinds of negative thought patterns? Like, everyone hates me, especially Natsuki. Oh, that's terrible. I don't think Natsuki hates you. How do you know? Well, because... give me a second... There we go. Okay. Monika thinks back to the time that she herself found herself in an altercation with Natsuki, and how displaying of maturity from Monika was enough for Natsuki to reevaluate her own feelings as well. I think Natsuki is just naturally defensive. I think she acts mean when she feels the need to protect herself. But you know, she's really not a bad person. In fact, I think she can be really thoughtful and considerate. She just... well, I guess the way it works is that she wants to receive some degree of kindness first before she feels comfortable returning it. Oh. But that means the burden is on me. And I don't know how to say things that make people like me. Every time I open my mouth, I just... Yuri shakes her head at herself and tucks on her hair. It's okay, Yuri. You don't need to beat yourself up. I think anyone would like you if they had the chance to get to know you. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. That's why I'm not talkative anymore in the first place. Because everyone used to think I was weird and talk about me behind my back. That's just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Natsuki even said she found it more respectable when people speak their mind, so I did, and then she hated me anyway. That was enough to confirm my fears. But Sayori and I like you, and we've gotten to know you a lot by now, right? Yuri doesn't seem to have a response. Hey, what do you think of Natsuki? I don't think about her. That's not what I meant, really. I was just wondering if you had an opinion of her. I do. What is it? Natsuki seems to bring out the worst in me, and I feel really ashamed of it. I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person, so for someone to just treat me like I'm inferior despite my tastes. But your tastes don't define you either. And you don't have to be sophisticated, Yuri. Analyzing it like that, I'm like, maybe that's why you act the way you act, and you are like, oh yeah, I'm so mature and I was gonna say a curse word and stuff, because you don't want people to look down on you or make you feel inferior, even if they don't necessarily like you because of that, like because of, oh, she's so sophisticated. I don't know where my train of thought went, but yeah. Anyway. That's just the worst kind of insult coming from someone like her. See, you're making her inferior in your head just because of that. And it makes me think bad things about her. But everyone else seems to like her. So, the only explanation is that it's me who's doing something wrong again. And my feelings about her are wrong. And I'm wrong to get upset over something so childish and inconsequential. No, Yuri, feelings are never wrong. Well, they're not right. That's the thing. Feelings are never right or wrong, you know? They're just a state of being that we don't always have control over. But that doesn't mean they have to control us. I feel like that's something I learned around when I first started the club. We can hate ourselves for feeling a certain way about things, or we can, just acknowledge that they exist and try to understand them better. I could never be mad at you for just feeling a certain way. It's about how you handle them. And I think working through feelings is a great opportunity for teamwork. Yuri wears a dejected expression. You make it sound so easy. You're so mature and so good with people. I feel like such a child in comparison. Oh, Yuri, I'm far from perfect. But these are learned skills. They didn't come naturally to me either. It's really hard to reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from your thoughts. I just want to be a good person. Well, I think it takes a good person to get this far. That's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate to her. Communicate what? How I feel. How it makes me feel frustrated and upset when she's so negative and dismissive of the things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know what it's like to feel misunderstood and angry at everyone. I know that telling yourself you're better than everyone else is just a defense mechanism. We're just people. We're fragile and unstable. But I'm just tired of that getting in the way. I can't stand it when the peace is disturbed like this. Yeah, you can't focus on your reading when the peace is disturbed, right? Because the literature club should be happy for everyone. Monika looks at Yuri in adoration. I feel like Sayori must be rubbing off on me, because I really want to hug you now. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. No, I mean, well, if you wanted to, then I wouldn't really mind, so... Monika pulls Yuri into a short embrace. You're so gentle, and I love when you communicate your feelings. I feel like you get to see that side of you. And I'm sure Natsuki will too. Eventually. I'm going to write her a letter. Oh, a letter? A letter? What a great idea! Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure. I always let my feelings get the best of me, and I forget to say all the important things, and I say things I don't mean. Well, I think a letter will be fun. A letter will be wonderful. Such a nice way to communicate. Yuri's face hardens with determination. People don't naturally gravitate towards me like they do for you and Sayori. My personality just isn't suited for that, and I wouldn't want it to be. But something I've learned is that friendships don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I never would have seen myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're opposite in a lot of ways, but I'm friends with her because she put so much effort into understanding me, so that we can get along. I think it was the same with you. You both gave me a lot of time and patience. And I wonder if she feels the same way. Natsuki? Yuri nods. I always thought that if I wanted to make more friends, I had to be somebody that I'm not. That there's a type of person, or a magical formula I have to follow in order to make someone like me. And that's just like me to think that. Always so occupied with myself that I fail to understand other people. Yuri shakes her head. Friendship happens when you think about the other person. When you offer time and effort to understand them and respect them, and trust that they also want to be a good person. That's what I learned through my observations in the literature club. Observations? Monika is caught by surprise. Yuri has always kept to herself so much that it's so unusual to hear her suddenly talking about the club like this. But Yuri gently smiles to herself. You always let me listen to your thoughts about people. Sayori too. And it makes me happy, because I learn a lot of things. That's so sweet. I had no idea it meant that much to you. Monika never thought much of it, but in the past weeks, Yuri always seemed to be especially attentive when it came to the problems and concerns of others. Always wanting to listen and learn more about her friends in the club. Cute! It's true, Sayori and Monika are naturally more comfortable with other people, and can more easily work through situations of conflict. But that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and the capacity to improve. And the first step towards improving oneself is reflection and self-awareness. It's something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, but that Monika can recognize as an incredible trait. And with that, her confidence in the club is restored. Please don't tell me it ends there. Okay. Because I was like, where's my CG? A very shy girl with long pretty hair is wandering the bustling lunchtime hallways, her fists pressed into her collarbone. When she finds the literature club president's classroom, she stands at the door, glancing around her before peering inside. Monika is sitting and chatting with a group of known friends. Yeah, as expected, this was a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monika glances towards the door, making the girl panic and duck out of sight. Before she can regain composure and decide for sure to leave, the classroom door gently opens. Yuri, what a surprise to see you during lunch! Yuri squeaks in response. Please help me. What? Is everything okay? Yuri shakes her head. I don't know how to write letters. Thank goodness, I thought there was some kind of emergency. Monika briefly glances over her shoulder at her own friends. Do you want some help? We can go find an empty classroom or something. Is that okay? I feel bad for taking you away from your friends. It's totally fine, I promise. We weren't really doing anything. One sec. Monika trots back into her classroom, saying something like, I gotta go, to her friends, then grabs a pen off her desk before returning to Yuri. Okay, let's find somewhere quiet. Yuri nods and follows Monika as the two of them set off. How are you today? Huh? Me? Well, yes. Oh gosh, sorry, I was just caught off guard. I'm doing well today, just tired. I never seem to get enough sleep during the week. How come? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm just easily distracted. I get really sucked into things and start neglecting the time. Oh my gosh, wasn't it me last night? Where you're like doing something and just one more hour, and then when you glance back at the clock, it's already 3 a.m. Yep. Me too. I do that too. Hey, this classroom is empty. Let's go in here. After peering inside, Monika opens the classroom door and the two of them enter. Yuri's moment of relaxation ends. She watches as Monika pulls two chairs up to the same desk, then obeys as Monika beckons her to take a seat. She stares down at the empty desk. You nervous? I don't want to do this. We don't have to. We can come up with something else. Yuri shakes her head. It's my chance to do something good. I need to take initiative. Gosh, you must be really determined. I know how hard it is to step out of your comfort zone. I'll be sure to encourage you. Yuri pushes through her anxiety and grabs a handful of lined paper from her notebook. Then she picks up her pen. Ah, cute. And she's fiddling with she's fiddling with her hair. Hey, you're left-handed. That's neat. Yeah. Now I don't have to worry about bumping your arm. Monika playfully rubs her shoulder against Yuri's. Sorry, I'm just being silly, I guess. Anyway, how about we start by listing the different things you want to say to her? Yuri thinks. I feel embarrassed all of a sudden. Oh, it's okay. How about some of the things you said to me yesterday? But... never mind. I guess I'll try. Yuri thinks for a moment longer, her tension evident. Then, she writes the word reflection. This is about my reflection on our behavior. The key question is why we act like this towards each other, but we have been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monika. That's me! Yes, it is. Oh. So, Yuri thinks. I've been able to befriend the two of you because you've taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests. The same goes for Natsuki too. We started off as pretty hostile to each other because I was worried about getting what I wanted, but she just wanted to be respected more than anything else. Once I stopped making it all about me, she was able to do the same. I want to do that too. So what kinds of things do you want to do for her? I want to do the same things for her that I like to receive. I like it when people respond positively to the things I talk about and not just brush me off. I like it when my feelings are taken seriously. And I like when you and Sayori trust that I want to be a good person, even when I'm not doing a good job at it. Let's write those things down. Okay. She's so cute, I can't! Yuri writes some things down. I think the most important thing to remember here is that Natsuki is feeling vulnerable, so we should make sure that the letter puts her first. It's hard when you're feeling hurt, but it never helps to just tell someone all the things that they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure that they know you're ready to respect them and listen to them, and admit the things that you feel you could do better. Then finally, you ask what you would like in return. How does it sound for the structure? It could be like 3 paragraphs, one for each of these points. I like that. My thoughts were so disorganized. I had no idea how to come up with any kind of structure. You're so amazing at these things. Oh, stop. You've done so much more than I have, you know? You spend such time reflecting and being open-minded. That's the hardest thing for anyone to do. All I'm doing is helping you put it on a piece of paper. So I think you're the amazing one. Monika gives Yuri's hand a squeeze. But as she lets go, she's caught by surprise when Yuri curls her fingers to hook Monika's hand in place. I'm not gonna say anything. I just wouldn't mind seeing these two together more often. Anyway, for a while they sit like that in silence, save for the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against the paper. Yesterday you told me something that I'm thinking about a lot. What was that? The thing about how feelings aren't right or wrong, and that they're just a state of being we need to come to terms with. It made me think about how a person's behavior isn't always just how they decide to be. It's also made up of their past experiences and their insecurities. Exactly. I think that helps me see other people as actual people, rather than as insignificant side characters who are out to get me somehow. Is that how you felt about Natsuki? Yuri nods. But in reality, everyone is always trying their best, and everyone wants to be happy. Some people are just really bad at expressing that, I guess. Monika peers over at Yuri's paper, but to her surprise, Yuri pulls it in closer, partially covering it with her arm. I have to be able to read it to help out, you know? It's okay. My thoughts are a lot more organized now, after being able to talk to you about it. Now that I'm actually putting it on paper, I realize I'd really prefer others not to read it. Yuri laughs softly to herself, a rare expression. She laughs! I'm kind of glad to hear that, actually. I somehow keep finding ways to butt into this whole thing. I've done enough damage. But it's also been so wonderful talking about this. I mean, I always thought you were really smart, but... Yuri smiles. I will always be terrible at these things. People are just so incomprehensible to me. I'll never get the hang of being one. But listening to you so much has really helped me make sense of some things. So just don't call it damage, please. Monika gives Yuri a gentle smile. Me. I can't believe I came to this club looking for fantasy geeks, and all I got was real friends who value me. Is that a joke? Of course it is. I still can't tell with you. Sorry. No, I love it. Please never change. As you wish. Oh, that's so cute. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. Yuri glances at the clock. We're almost out of time. Indeed, Yuri. Will you be able to finish? Before the end of the day, probably. But I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads it. Too shy. I can give it to her instead if you'd like. Yuri nods. As long as you promise not to read it. Of course, I promise. Thank you. Yuri exhales and the two stand up. I'll message you when it's ready. Monika nods. Good luck. I'm here if you need me. Yuri returns a nod and the two depart. Oh my god, it ends there. Okay, let's go. Part 1, self-love. The most important lesson of all. Cause it's almost 8. It's only been 1 day since Yuri's letter was delivered to Natsuki. Oh, so it was just delivered off screen. Okay. With Monika's help. Because Yuri chose not to attend the club meeting that day, she and Natsuki haven't faced each other since. Although it's only lunchtime, Yuri finds herself anxiously counting the hours until she will need to face the outcome of her efforts, whether good or bad. And because the passing by of the students was making her feel even more anxious, Yuri picked out the most secluded spot she could find to spend her lunch. Because this staircase is under maintenance, no student would have any reason for coming here. It's such a relaxing feeling to have a moment of solitude in the middle of a frantic school day. Oh. What are you doing here? I just... Yuri grips her book with enough force to wrinkle the pages beneath the pressure of her thumbs. Well, what are you doing here? I just came to get a drink from the vending machine. The other one is out of the drink I like. Yuri notices Natsuki fidgeting with a few coins between her fingers. She nods, avoiding eye contact. Natsuki, also looking away, shuffles over to the vending machine. It's so quiet that every one of her movements seems to reverberate through the entire stairwell. After far too long, she finally receives her beverage, which she then fidgets with in place of the coins. It's some kind of iced tea, but instead of leaving right away, Natsuki just stands in place. She glances all around her. It's like way too quiet back here. It's creepy. I mean, that's not what I meant, really. I mean, it's totally cool that's your thing or whatever. Like, I can see how it suits you, so... Not because I think you're creepy or something. I didn't mean that either. You know, I'm just gonna stop talking. That seems like a good idea. It's okay. Everything is okay. Yuri finds herself attempting some words of comfort after hearing Natsuki stammer herself into dejection. Seemingly in response, Natsuki approaches the base of the staircase and hesitantly sits herself down near Yuri. Well, I can leave if you want. Yuri shakes her head. Natsuki twists the cap of her drink and takes a sip. Despite receiving Yuri's general permission, Natsuki doesn't say anything more. Yuri continues to read, or at least pretends to. And the two just sit there for a long time. The tension seems to fade a little bit as time passes. Even without any words, this seems to mean at least something, though it's not clear what that may be. Lunch ends more quickly than expected. Natsuki is the first to stand up with her empty drink bottle. Are you coming today? To the club? Yuri nods. I'm sorry for being so awkward. I'm really bad at talking about this stuff. I just can't for some reason. I don't know why. But I want to. Eventually. There's no rush. I promise. Thanks. It's the next day. Natsuki appears from around the corner and steps up to the vending machine, glancing at Yuri as she does so. Today, she seems to be holding some kind of book as well. Oh, you're here again. Well, I just came here to read this, because there aren't many people around here. Oh, I thought you didn't like how quiet it was? Well, I don't, but there's no people here. I see. Natsuki sits down. The mood feels much different today than it did yesterday. After yesterday's lunch and the club meeting that followed, Natsuki and Yuri are beginning to feel more relaxed around each other again. Although Yuri's letter is still lingering in the back of Natsuki's mind, she continues to detour around it. But it's okay that I'm here? Yeah, I don't care. I mostly just don't feel like dealing with the crap I get from my friends about it. Especially since, like, they all just assumed I stopped reading manga after I joined the literature club. Not that I'm trying to hide it from them, exactly. But I just don't want it to come up again now after I waited so long for this new volume to come out. Literally months at this point. You don't have other friends who are into manga? Not unless online friends count. Ah! I feel that. So, that hurt. Not unless online friends count. Like, I do have friends IRL that like some of the things that I like, but I don't get to hang out with them often, so... And Sayori, but that's different because she's not exactly into it, she just likes it. You know what I mean? Honestly, you're lucky that the books you're into at least just look like books, so you don't have to feel like everyone is constantly judging you by what you're reading. That would be so awful. Especially since I already hate attention so much. Well, it's a good thing I have thick skin then. By the way, I would totally recommend finding some friends online if you haven't already, if you're like me and have no one to share your hobbies with. Oh, I have online friends. Since middle school, actually. I was especially desperate back then. Ouch! Online friends aren't bad, okay? It's somewhat embarrassing to reminisce about these days. Sometimes I feel like the me from a few years ago would have benefited from a good smack across the face. Oh, whatever, we were all just stupid kids back then anyway. Some of the fanfics I wrote, thank god I used to sit. We're just gonna move on, I'm not gonna comment on that. But I liked it at the time, I got a lot of fulfillment out of it. And plus, I can look back and say with confidence that I've become a better person since then. So I don't think I would change anything. I wonder if a few years from now we'll think the same thing about our current selves. Probably. That doesn't make you uncomfortable? No, of course not. I don't care what other people think of me, especially someone who doesn't even exist yet. Alright, here. Natsuki raises her hand to her face and forcefully slaps her own cheek. That's me from the future coming to terms with me right now. Also, ow, I didn't mean to do it that hard. Yuri doesn't seem to react, but then, to Natsuki's surprise, Yuri shyly looks the other way before lifting her arm and doing the same thing to herself, loudly smacking her cheek. I wouldn't recommend that, but okay. She turns right and stares into her lap, but it's unable to hide a smile as though it was a really funny joke. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know you had it in you. I don't even know why I did that. Maybe I thought it would be funny. Sorry, I keep distracting you. You said you were looking forward to reading, but I keep going on about all this nonsense. I'll let you get to your reading. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I'll do that then. The conversation ends quickly and Natsuki opens her book. The two read silently for the remainder of the lunch hour. But the whole time, Yuri feels distracted by a twist of regret over having so abruptly forced the end of their conversation. You're back. Yeah, I'm here to lay low again. Another day has passed. During lunchtime, Natsuki finds herself having wandered to the stairwell once more. Hey, did you buy that? Natsuki quickly notices a bottle of iced tea on the staircase where she normally sits. Yuri nods, avoiding eye contact. What, like for me? But you didn't know I was coming here today. What if I didn't show up? Well, I would have drunk it myself, I guess. It was a stupid thing to do. No, it wasn't stupid. I just thought... Never mind. What I mean to say is, thank you. And that it's a really nice gesture. It's okay if you don't feel that way. I do. It was the other things that I didn't mean. I swear. Please believe me. Beauty passes and nods. Talking is hard. I get it wrong a lot too. So I believe you. Natsuki exhales in relief. She then sits down next to Yuri and takes the drink. Knowing Yuri, she was probably overthinking it so much that Natsuki's tepid response filled her with self-doubt. I'll do something nice for you next time. Please don't feel obligated. I want to. I want to do nice things too. Okay. Thank you. You can thank me after I figure out how to do something nice. I'll do it then, too. Natsuki sighs. Nothing. It just reminds me how I haven't been getting along with my friends lately. Is that why you've been coming here? Well, no, not exactly. I haven't been avoiding them on purpose or anything. There are just other things I'd rather be doing during lunch lately. I like being around them when they're all just having fun, but they also just can't take anything seriously. So when I'm, feeling serious, their attitudes just really get on my nerves. It's only gotten worse ever since I joined the literature club, because you're realizing that you can't stand them because they just make fun of you and they're not good people for you. How come? I don't know, and that they're very friends out there. I feel like I used to be really good with just putting up with it because it would be so stupid to cause drama over a joke I didn't like or something. But I just have a hard time doing that lately. But it's my fault for being overly sensitive. If I have a problem, I'm not gonna demand for everyone around me to change. But yeah, I know. Monika and Sayori really don't agree with that kind of thing. But they're not in my position, so it's easy for them to say that you should just communicate your feelings or whatever. It's not like my friend group does that kind of thing. I would just be making an embarrassment of myself. Sorry, none of this has anything to do with you. I don't know why I'm talking about it. It's okay. I like listening. What? Listening to other people's problems? Yes. That's weird. Sorry. I just like learning about people. Do you think it's weird? No, that's not weird. I probably just misunderstood, so... I don't know. Does that mean I should keep going? If you'd like. Okay. Well, I don't know what to talk about now. What are some things that you like about your friends? A lot of things. I mean, they're really fun to hang out with, like after school and on the weekends. And they really like my baking. And it's fun to complain about school together. They make me laugh a lot, and we have a lot of good memories and inside jokes. Oh, about a lot of those things. So, are those all things that are important to you? Well, kind of, but they're not things I need to get out of everybody. Everyone in the club is really different from that, but I'm still friends with them too. Well, Sayori really likes your baking, and she makes you laugh, and she complains a lot. That doesn't mean she's anything like my other friends. Well, unlike them, she's a nice person who cares about your feelings. Excuse me? How about you don't talk about that way about my friends that you don't know anything about? Natsuki stands up. No, wait. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't want to say something bad. Please don't leave. Natsuki sighs and shakes her head. It's fine. As long as you understand that you can't just judge people like that. I'm sorry. Natsuki sits back down. You can't just compare friends like that and measure who's better than who. Everyone's different. I'm sorry. I just don't like when people want to... I just don't like people who want to hurt you. A moment of silence stretches between them. They don't want to hurt me. We just like to tease each other about stupid things. It's fun. I don't like that. Well, that's why I'm friends with them and you're not. You like it? Just don't worry so much about me. It's not worth it. I'm sorry. I wish I knew how to help with social conflicts. Like how Monika can. She's good at these things. Not really. Also, I don't always want help. Sometimes it's just stuff I have to deal with myself. That's what Monika and Sayori never seem to understand. Sometimes all you do is look at them wrong and they're like, oh, that's wrong? Is everything okay? Oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay? I just want I just want to mind my own business sometimes and decide myself if I want to talk about things. The only one who understands that is you. So you really shouldn't be hard on yourself. You're not as bad as you think. Oh, you don't need to reassure me or anything. I mean that. Plus, it makes sense that someone who doesn't talk a lot would make a good listener. Thank you. You're also nice. It's really hard for me. It doesn't come naturally at all. It's so weird because I always thought of myself as someone who can just say whatever on my mind. Whatever's on my mind, but I feel like that only works when I'm annoyed or upset or I just want to say something mean. Why am I like that? You don't have to answer that. I'm just talking to myself. Yuri nods and remains silent. Natsuki notices her fidgeting with the pages of her book. How come you like reading so much? Oh, well, a lot of reasons, but I just get sucked into it so easily. It's so immersive, like I want to be a part of it. I think there are a lot of things about people in real life that make me feel uncomfortable and frustrated, especially when it comes to following social conventions and group interactions. I just don't really understand it, and I have no real desire to participate. But it's different with books. It feels like I always want to be around the characters. I feel such a strong emotional connection with them in ways that I've never felt with real people. So, in that way, it can sometimes feel more real than real life. Really? Is that hard for you to be around people? Like, all the time? Fairly often, especially in group settings. When people are making all kinds of conversation and saying jokes and all of that, I don't know what to do. I just disengage. Oh, that doesn't get lonely? I don't think so. I can still enjoy spending time with people one-on-one, and I have online friends too, of course. Do you ever wish that you could be friends with the characters in your books? All the time. Indeed, sister. Sometimes so badly that it makes my heart ache. This is why I like Yuri, she understands. Yeah, me too. Really? Mm-hmm. A lot. Okay, they're both my girls. Like, more than anything. After Natsuki mutters that, silence fills the stairwell once more. But it's a mutual silence. One full of understanding. Last one. Speed run! We only have 6 minutes! Hey! Oh, hello. I almost thought you weren't coming today. Yeah, well, lunch is already more than halfway over. Natsuki had typically been meeting with Yuri in the stairwell much earlier since it had been a good way of dodging her friends when she didn't feel like seeing them. Today, she's holding a large plastic container in both hands. I ran into my friends, so I hung out with them for a while. Is that so? Yeah. I was in a good mood today, so I figured I should. I hadn't seen them in a while, which I had to come up with an excuse for, but I expected that. Plus, I have way more of these than I know what to do with, so I figured I would share them with them too. As she sits down, Natsuki opens the lid of her container. You made cupcakes. You know it. It's been a while at this point, so I figured it was about time again. You can take one if you want. I love cupcakes. Yuri takes a cupcake and carefully twirls it between her fingers. It's brown, with dark green frosting immaculately shaped into a floral pattern and topped with some kind of glittery powder. How pretty. I just ate, so I might not be able to finish it. Are they for the club? Yeah, I guess so. I didn't really think about it, I just made them. Ah, I thought that because green is Monika's favorite color, right? Well, yeah, but that's not really... Yuri takes a small bite. This is green tea flavored. I love green tea. Oh, do you? What a coincidence. Oh, I can't speak anymore. Coincidence. Is it pronounced like that? I don't remember right now. I just want a random idea. It was just a random idea I wanted to try, so... Don't laugh at me. I'm not. I just felt happy. Oh, sorry. Usually when... Never mind. What I mean is that I'm glad. Sorry for saying dumb things again. I just wanted to do something nice. This is the thing that... And this is something I happen to be good at. And I don't know I do know that you like them, from past experience. Yuri turns red, recalling the time she treated herself rather generously to Natsuki's cupcakes. Ironically, her mouth is too full of cupcake for her to stammer an excuse, so she just settles for a disapproving look. How did you get into baking? Oh, well, I don't know. I kinda just always appealed to me. Well, a few years ago I read this one manga with a lot of baking, so I got like super into it for a while. I was probably making stuff almost every day, but it's something that I always knew I liked anyway. It's like, baking is like art, but when you get good at it, it gets more delicious too. I'm struggling to imagine myself putting my heart into something so artistic, knowing that it would just be eaten afterwards. It's just fun. It's just fun. You don't really think about it when you do it. Yeah, maybe you're too practical for it. I think I prefer to be on the receiving end. That's my other favorite part about it. It's something I can do that makes a lot of people happy, like unconditionally. Indeed. I'm saying this because I also know how to bake cupcakes, and I've done that in the past about bringing them to friends, and they always get happy when you give them one, so it's nice. Everyone is always so thankful, and in that moment you get to be like the bringer of joy. I don't know, it just makes me feel valued? Yeah, I guess that. So you were able to make up with your friends today? There wasn't really anything to make up with them about. We weren't fighting or anything. You weren't? Maybe I misunderstood. It only turns into a fight if I lose my cool, and that's just unnecessary drama. It only makes things worse. So they're not going to stop? I mean, it only happens sometimes anyway. It's just the way they are. I'm the only one who ever has a problem with it. It's not worth it. Especially since I have somewhere to go now when I don't feel like hanging out with them. Oh, I see. The cupcake's empty foil wrapper audibly crinkles as Yuri clenches a fist. I'm glad that the situation is resolved, and that you don't have to avoid them anymore. Yeah, me too. And I don't have to bother you during your alone time anymore. I'm sure that you have a lot of reading to catch up on. Yeah. I know that cupcakes are basically nothing compared to all the stuff you've done for me, but it's the best that I can do. So you can have the rest of them. Natsuki grabs the box and slides it over to Yuri's feet. Yuri stares at the box. Then she shakes her head and slides them back. You should save them for your other friends. But I made them for you. Natsuki's voice whines as she protests. I know. And I like them very much. Exactly as you thought. You succeeded. But I know you care about making your other friends happy too. And if this is the way you know how to make that happen, then I'm not going to take it from you. No, they were for making you happy. You make me happy. You're worth more than the cupcakes to some. You're worth more than cupcakes to some people. That's why they want to spend time with you and be your friend. Without warning, tears pour from Natsuki's eyes. She pulls her knees to her chest and starts sobbing into her arms. Natsuki, I'm such a bad person. Yuri stammers, feeling panicked. I didn't mean to say something bad. Natsuki shakes her head and wipes her eyes. You didn't. Natsuki tries to choke back her sobs, but struggles to speak through them. I just really hate myself sometimes. And it feels so wrong when you say those nice things to me. Like I don't deserve it. I'm sorry. No, I am. I'm so difficult. And I can't think of even a single thing about myself that somebody would like. And I hated myself for bothering you during lunch. I just thought it was my chance to be a good person, like to be nice and do the things you wrote about in the letter. I knew if I tried in the club, Sayori and Monika would be super annoying and make a huge deal out of it. You know, I think a lot about those negative things too about myself. I never felt like a good person. I always scrutinize everything I say, and later I feel like I said all the wrong things. And I just spend so much time thinking about myself, hating myself, and feeling like everyone else must hate me too. So, I understand some of that from my own experience, and that's why I wanted to write the letter and express my feelings. It pained me to see those things in someone else that I saw in myself. Natsuki sniffles. Yuri rustles through her bag and pulls out some tissues, then hands them to Natsuki. Monika told me that it takes a good person to reflect on these things. The desire to improve yourself. that makes you a good person, so don't worry so much. Also, there are things about you that people do like, so... Like what? Like how fun you're for people to be around. And you're not shy, and you know how to make people laugh. And you're very passionate about things, and you know how to take the lead. And you care a lot about other people. And just a lot of things. Oh. Well, now you're making me feel really embarrassed. Well, you're the one who asked. And don't you think I feel embarrassed? Natsuki tries to hide a smile, then she sighs as it fades again. Every time I come here, I always think it's the last time, but then I keep coming back for some reason. Is that bad? Just really confusing. I mean, my friends and I go way back, so ditching them all the time feels like... I don't know. Feels like what? Natsuki's voice gets quiet. Maybe I'm scared that they'll get mad at me. I really don't know what to do. She pauses. Yuri stares into the distance, tracing her eyes along the patterns of the floor tiles while she thinks to herself. What would you do, hypothetically, if your friends were happy for you instead of mad at you? Happy for what? Happy that your new club is making you happy. Well, that's just not a fair hypothetical. Natsuki says that, but with a little confidence in her voice. I always tell myself that I don't rely on the approval of others to be happy. And I still feel that way, but I'm spending time with people who put me down whenever I don't have their approval. That's probably what's making me feel so confused. Because I'm threatened out of the things that should make me happy. So no matter what, it's like I have to be unhappy to be happy. It's making my head hurt. That must make it really difficult to feel comfortable with yourself. Being made to feel like you're wrong just for being the person you are. It really goes against everything I believe in, doesn't it? It goes against the kind of person I want to be. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with a lot of things. Natsuki presses her palms into her forehead and shakes her head. I know what's best for me, but I keep convincing myself out of it. It's so much easier to be comfortably unhappy than it's to do something so scary. To do what? You know, to end it. With them? Natsuki nods. I didn't think you were actually considering that as an option. It wasn't, until recently. It's just one of those things where, like, it's been a certain way for so long that you just get used to it. Like, so much of you has gone into it, so much that it feels like that's just how your life is. And throwing it away is like throwing away such a big part of your life. It makes me feel sick to think about. Natsuki sighs. It's just really scary. It's terrifying. What are you scared of? I don't know. A lot of things. Like being alone. Not having anyone to talk or hang out with. Not being able to replace what I have with them. And I don't want them to hate me. And I'm scared they'll hurt me for going against them. Physically? No, not physically. But... Yuri clenches her fists. Natsuki. What? If anyone even thinks to... if anyone even thinks to cause you harm, I will unleash hell upon them. Natsuki snorts in laughter. Don't laugh at me. Sorry, I was just... I like that. That's all. Oh. Well, I meant it. I know you did. Natsuki gives Yuri an endearing look. I needed it. As the conversation lapses, Natsuki again slides her box of cupcakes over to Yuri. Just take them, okay? I don't want other people to have them anymore. Are you sure? Natsuki nods. I'm sure. I will then. I'll enjoy them. Natsuki looks away, but a feeling of warmth spreads through her. She holds onto that feeling, knowing it will give her courage. Ah, you're here for us today. And you brought reading material. Natsuki is sitting in her usual spot, this time holding a volume of manga while her lunch sits beside her. Yuri sits down as well and opens her own book. It sucks when a good series has to come to an end. Like, it's such a big part of your life, and then one day there's just nothing left. It makes you feel so empty. Unfortunately, I'm about to experience that myself. I'm on the last book of the series. That sucks. But there's also something satisfying about letting a story conclude. I don't know if I'd want it to go on forever. Maybe. But there are some things that I wish I could. On the other hand, have you ever read something that overstayed its welcome? Oh my god, here we go. Yeah, definitely. I can think of at least one thing I read that got pretty unbearable like halfway through and the ending really sucked. So, it sucks when something good has to end. But it also sucks when they just keep inventing more plot until you don't like it anymore. Sisters! That's the story of my life. I guess it sucks either way. Well, that's the nature of all things. They come to an end. I'm gonna miss this game. The two fall silent. They slowly eat while making their way through their respective reading material. Except Natsuki doesn't seem to be touching her food at all. You don't go out during the weekends, right? Excuse me? Like, with friends, at the mall or downtown or whatever. I'm not a total shut-in, you know? Oh, my bad for making assumptions. Well, I'm sure I go out less often than other people, like you and the others in the club. I don't really meet with friends and arbitrarily spend time like that. I'm usually meeting with my board game group. Board game group? It doesn't matter, it's just some nerdy stuff. You play D&D, don't you? Why do you ask anyway? I was just curious. I just realized that I couldn't picture it, so I was just curious. Yuri looks at Natsuki and realizes that she's asking. That she's shaking. Don't look at me like that. Sorry. Natsuki pulls her knees into her chest and puts her head down. I can't take this. Did I do something? Yuri gets flustered, her mind racing over what she may have said or done. I did. I ended it. I texted them earlier telling them. And then I just blocked them because I'm so afraid of their responses. And now it feels like I'm dying inside. Oh. That's... I'm sorry. Totally unsure of what to do, Yuri can barely find any words of support to offer. Meanwhile, the sound of Natsuki's unusually hard breathing fills the air. Then she speaks again, barely above a whisper. Help me. I feel sick and I want to hit my head against things. Please help. I can't take this. You may be having a panic attack. With that realization, Yuri's demeanor suddenly changes. I have experience with this, so I'll help you through it, okay? Natsuki meekly nods through her rapid breath, head still buried in her knees. Yuri slides herself over to Natsuki and sits on the step behind her. Then, she puts her hands on Natsuki's shoulders. Can you feel my hands? Natsuki nods. Her shaking becomes much more apparent through Yuri's sense of touch. Yuri keeps her voice low and gentle. You're safe right now. You're in a good and safe place, where nothing can hurt you. Natsuki nods once more. Although Yuri is only touching Natsuki's shoulders, she can practically feel her hair racing pulse through the base of her neck. We'll do a breathing exercise together. All you have to do is listen to my breaths and breathe along with me. Let's breathe in now. Yuri takes a deep, slow breath. Beneath her hands, she feels Natsuki's shoulders rise and Natsuki takes a breath of her own, trying to mimic Yuri. They exhale together, although Natsuki's breath shakes on the way out. That's good. Let's keep going. Yuri breathes in once more, and Natsuki joins her. They continue like that for a few more cycles while Yuri closely monitors. Eventually, Yuri feels Natsuki rests more of her weight into Yuri's palms. Let's focus on the physical world. All you have to do is focus on the feeling of your breaths going in and out, and the weight on my hands of your shoulders. You're in a safe and comfortable physical space. Minutes pass in silence. By now, the worst of it has passed, but Yuri is determined not to move away until Natsuki prompts her to. Meanwhile, Natsuki has lifted her head off her knees, and her breathing has mostly steadied. Then, she takes a final deep breath and slowly pulls herself to her feet, causing Yuri to let go. She stretches her arms. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to freak out. I don't know what my deal is. You don't have to apologize. This must be enormously stressful for you. Is that going to keep happening? It may, or it may not. We can take measures to help prevent it in the future, but I think it will naturally get better over time. Natsuki motions to sit back down again, so Yuri moves over. Yuri turns away to pick up her open book from the dusty floor, which she had hastily set down earlier. She brushes the dust off the cover. I don't think I could have gotten through that alone. You're not alone. Feeling shy again, Yuri speaks into her own lap. From now on, you don't have to do anything alone. As she says that, Yuri tenses up. It's rare for her to so openly share her thoughts, but something about Natsuki, of all people, makes it feel so much more natural to do so. Perhaps because, like Yuri, Natsuki is so timid and uncertain of herself. Natsuki does such a good job at hiding it that it's taking a long time for Yuri to finally realize it. And because of that, Yuri is able to deliver the reassurance that she herself would have wanted, demonstrating that you deserve the love of others. If you can accept that for the first time, then perhaps you can begin the tumultuous journey of learning to love yourself. Do you really mean that? You're probably gonna regret saying that if you do. How so? Because I'm probably gonna have a lot of free time during the weekends from now on. So you're giving me permission to be as annoying as I want to and drag you around to a lot of places. I see. But you already said it, so you can't take it back now. Well, I suppose I have no choice but to accept the responsibility then. I know a good ice cream place. Oh? That means you'll finally figure out my favorite ice cream flavor. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, you don't remember? The first day that you came to the club, you guessed everyone's favorite ice cream flavor. But for me, you said you had no idea. Seriously? I don't remember that at all. Oh wait, yes I do. I said it was probably green tea. Yuri shakes her head. It's a good guess, but my favorite is usually to get chocolate and raspberry together. Chocolate and raspberry? Oh, I read it wrong. Well, anyway, how fancy. How is that fancy? Oh, I don't know. I feel like I should have guessed something like that. Well, maybe next time I'll try chocolate and strawberry. Hey, strawberry is my favorite! What a coincidence. I think it helps to have something to look forward to. I still have the sick feeling in my stomach, but it's easier now to convince myself that I did the right thing. Is there anything better I could be doing? Not that I know of. There's nothing that will make this easy for me. And you already did more than I thought anyone could. Come to think of it, we never talked about the letter you wrote. But I feel like we're way past that at this point. I don't even know what to talk about. Except that I think it helped me understand my needs a little bit better. The way I like to be treated, and the kinds of friends that I want to have. That's why I wanted to start coming here in the first place, even though I was so scared of causing more problems. I thought it was a coincidence that you ran into me here initially? Oh, well, not exactly. What do you mean? Nothing. I may have tracked you down first, with the help of Sayori. But you said... I was shy, okay? I wasn't ready to whatever, you know what I'm saying. Well, I guess I'm glad that you worked up the courage, even if it wasn't your own way. I can tell that you've been making a lot of difficult decisions. It's brave, and it will make things better in the long run. I think anyone would be proud of you for it. Anyone? You mean like you? Yes, like me. You know, I could get used to this. As long as you don't tease me too much. Fine. Just a little then. That's fine. I know how uncertain everything feels to you right now, but I really do think that good things are in store. Those are my honest feelings. Thanks. It feels nice to be reassured. The two girls continue their conversation through the remainder of lunch, but a new feeling hangs in the air, a feeling of greater certainty in their path forward. In just a few hours, there will be another literature club meeting, where the 4 of club members will happily spend time together. Each of them all with their own special qualities, have something unique that they can deliver to one another. Through friendship and literature, the club members will continue to grow and find new happiness together. The end of each chapter is the start of the next, Yuri thinks to herself. Since she's about to finish her long-running series, it would be best to have a new book lined up. Perhaps this weekend would be a good time to visit the bookstore. Together. Ugh, I have so many feelings. But that's the end. And I'm already late to my class, so I can't really hang out much and say much. We finally unlocked all the background CGs, which is great. And the story ones. I absolutely love this one. And these two are just special. Natsuki can be difficult, but oh, I love this. But she's great. I like her now. Well, that's the end of it. That's Doki Doki. We finished it. I'm gonna be empty for a bit, but I'm gonna get over it because I have to go to class, so yeah. Anyway, I love this game. I just love this game. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching and going through this journey with me. I'm really happy that I covered it, the whole thing. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys either on Friday or next week. Someday. Like probably Saturday in that case, but yeah. Oh, hi Yatsin! Thank you for being here. Anyway, thanks so much for coming. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and going through this emotional journey together. I'm so happy that we finished and also really sad, but happy. My heart is full. And with that, I'll be seeing you next time, whenever that is. Okay? Bye!